Join us now for Education Matters, a weekly look at the real people and real stories in education across North Carolina.
Welcome to Education Matters, presented by the Public School Forum of North Carolina. I'm Keith Poston. Education has been a mainstay in the headlines in recent years here in North Carolina. Today on the show, we're going to talk to one of those education newsmakers, Judge Bob Orr. He's a former North Carolina Supreme Court Justice who recently represented the State Board of Education in a lawsuit before the court over a law passed by the General Assembly shifting powers from the board to State Superintendent Mark Johnson. Then we're going to talk to two journalists who work hard every week covering the rapidly changing news in policy and education. Before we tackle our main topics, we open with our Edlines, a quick scan of education headlines across North Carolina and the U.S. The General Assembly is considering as many as 6 amendments to the state constitution for the November ballot. The amendments range from a new voter ID requirement to a right to hunt and fish. Education supporters and some business leaders have expressed concern about a proposed amendment to cap corporate and personal income tax rates at the current rate, making it very difficult for any future elected legislatures to make changes to tax laws passed in recent years. Following the tragic school shooting in Parkland, Florida earlier this year, the State House convened a select committee to focus on school safety. During months of meetings, much of the discussion centered on improved student mental health services and addressing the state's school psychologist shortage. But as the short session draws to a close, likely this week, there's very little to show for it. At least 3 different bills that address school psychologist licensure, pay, and recruitment all failed to advance. A new study just released found that nearly 1 in 5 public school teachers have a second job. The data comes from a national survey conducted by the U.S. Department of Education. Now, North Carolina has historically had one of the highest percentages of teachers with a second job, with data in recent years showing as much as 52% of North Carolina teachers had a second job, which at that time was the 3rd highest rate in the country. Finally, President Donald Trump is proposing merging the U.S. Departments of Education and Labor into a single cabinet-level agency called the Department of Education and the Workforce. The White House says it would help create alignment throughout the education to career pipeline and connect workforce development and higher education. Remember, you can visit the Public School Forum's website at ncforum.org, click on Education Matters, and read more about each of these Edlines as well as all the other topics we cover each week.